And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service on this Thursday, February 8th, 2024. And if you'd like additional weather information on what I provide in this YouTube video, you can go to weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's online presence. And I bring this up so you have alternatives to get additional weather information. Plus, you can check on the weather any place in the country. Just point and click on this map of the continental U.S., or here's Hawaii, Alaska to the lower left, and tabs for the territories. It'll bring up a local forecast with any relevant watches, warnings, or advisories. And another reason I do this from time to time is because a lot of important things weather-wise are happening in the lower 48. We have friends and family there. We travel to and from this area. Biggest news this afternoon, tornado warnings southern Wisconsin in February. There have been reports of tornadoes, damaging tornadoes on the ground between Madison and Janesville. If actually confirmed, this would be the first tornadoes recorded in Wisconsin in the month of February. Very unusual severe weather event going on there this afternoon. And then back out here to the west from the remnants of the atmospheric river that came into California over this past weekend, early in the week. We have winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings down here toward the Four Corners and areas of the inner mountain west and southwest. So active weather there. Here in Alaska, we finally emerged from the deep freeze of the dangerous cold that we had for at least a couple of week period there from mid-January on up into early February. So temperatures have finally moderated across the state, and we're watching an area of low pressure that's going to cross the Alaska Peninsula on Friday and head up toward the southwest coast into the southwest interior. The front arcing out ahead of it will push across the Gulf, bringing areas of active weather. We could see a minor geomagnetic storm develop tonight or into Thursday, which could enhance our normal quiet form aurora. So if you have clear skies at your location, you may want to get out and check it out, because we also have some of the darker skies in the month because new moon occurs tomorrow, Thursday, in the early afternoon at 2 p.m. So the night sky will be good and dark here if you're away from town lights over the next several days. And then we are trending milder and drier across much of the state here as we go in through mid-February. And I'll show you those medium range outlooks coming up. So this Thursday, early afternoon, Utqiagvik, some light snow, temperature at 0. King Cove, down in the southern portion of the Alaska Peninsula, windy, winds gusting up over 40 miles an hour, overcast skies, 35 degrees. And then Moose Pass here in the eastern portion of the Kenai Peninsula, increasing clouds, 38, but there is a winter weather advisory for Turnagain Pass for later this evening into Friday evening. As much as a foot of snow could fall at Turnagain Pass there along the Seward Highway. And then Klawak is enjoying partly sunny skies, 37 degrees early this Thursday afternoon, but areas of the Panhandle in the north could get additional heavy snowfall. So I'll talk about that in just a second. But what do we have to look forward to in the sky? Well, a G1 minor geomagnetic storm watch means we could have a disturbance from the sun arrive here at some point tonight or Thursday, which could lead to enhanced aurora tonight or on tomorrow. So watch the sky. You have clear conditions tonight into tomorrow morning. New moon occurs tomorrow, Thursday, right around 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So that means skies are going to be good and dark here next several days through the weekend. We're at that point in the lunar cycle where we have the new moon and darker skies. Jupiter is very prominent. That planet is shining brightly in the southwest evening sky. So if you go out and look that way and skies are clear, you should see this orangish yellow brighter star, and that is the planet Jupiter. Well, winter storm watch has been issued for Friday morning into Saturday morning for the areas, icy strait corridor, including Juneau on up through Skagway, Gustavus, Hoonah, even down toward areas Alpha and Pelican Cove for I would say 4 to as much as 12 inches of snow in that time frame, because this front is going to be working its way eastward across the Gulf and push in that precipitation into the northern panhandle. Now, looking at the current advisories, watches, warnings, we have the winter storm watch here again for the northern part of the panhandle. Also, winter weather advisory for around Yakutat. for several inches of snow and some gusty winds. Turnagain Arm here in the eastern Kenai on the Seward Highway could get as much as a foot of snow there, especially there at Turnagain Pass. The eastern Chugach Mountain, the mountains here around the western portion of Prince William Sound could easily pick up a foot or two of snow too with this front as it works through. As the winds increase with this system, pressure gradient tightens. We expect strong gusty winds across the Alaska Range, especially eastern part of the Alaska Range, a high wind warning, wind advisories for areas back through Denali Park. Again, strong gusty winds, especially along the ridge lines through the gaps, passes. Then farther north, White Mountains north of Fairbanks up through Gobbler's Knob. Winter weather advisory in effect for some light snow and blowing snow that could slow travel. And then also coming through Anatuvik and Adigan passes, there could be some gusty winds and blowing snow. But let's take a look then at what we have in terms of our main weather feature is this area of low pressure coming up out of the North Pacific, and it'll be crossing the Alaska Peninsula up there around Sand Point and then on up toward Cape Newingham by Friday evening, and then eventually inland up through Bethel into the lower Yukon Delta on Saturday morning. But here, wrapped around this low is an occluded front, and that front is working its way north and northeastward, and as that moves its way across the Kenai Peninsula and along the Gulf Coast, any of the mountains, intercoastal mountains, could get some heavier snowfall, and that's why those various advisories and warnings and watches have been issued. So here's the low down around 967 millibars this Thursday afternoon, with the front arcing out ahead of it to the north and northeast. By the time we get into late tonight, early Friday morning, we see the low now beginning to cross, just approach the Alaska Peninsula. It will continue tracking northward. Meanwhile, the front will continue working its way north and northeastward. High pressure over the Yukon and Northwest Territories will not be as strong. It's still at 1030 there. But by the time we get into Friday afternoon, that feature kind of bubbles down toward the southeast, and this front works its way northward, weakening as it comes inland, bringing the gusty winds to areas of the Alaska Range, those stronger winds, and then also as it pushes in through the Panhandle, another round of accumulating snows there, especially as we go through Friday afternoon, Friday night. The low continues drifting northward Friday afternoon and will be coming onshore around Cape Newingham on Friday night, and by early Saturday morning, afternoon, be located here in the area of the lower YK deltas. And this system will have some snow, lighter accumulating snows along areas of the Yukon Delta surrounding Norton Sound and extending northward along this trough here through the Seward Peninsula and along the far northwest coast there out toward Point Hope. A couple other lows will be following, maybe not as deep, but that's going to be the pattern as they lift northward. So it's overall going to bring some milder temperatures over the weekend and into at least early middle of next week, especially over areas of south central into the Alaska Peninsula. The really cold weather here of the past week or two has finally lifted across the state. So looking at temperatures, we're looking for lows Friday morning above freezing here in the southern outer portion of the Panhandle, below freezing in the north, mid-20s there. Juneau, still 5 below in the cold spot there, Gulkana and Glen Ellen. As far as Anchorage Bowl area, 25-ish, so much milder than what it has been. And then for daytime highs Friday afternoon, we're looking at temperatures above freezing over the southern half of the Panhandle, even up near 40, say at Klawak and Craig, near freezing at Juneau on up towards Skagway, but periods of light to moderate snow will add up. And then back here along the Gulf Coast, temperatures around or just above 40, Homer and Kodiak. Even above freezing in the Anchorage Bowl and extending up to Talkeetna. Talkeetna last week was like 40, near 40 below a couple of mornings. And so Saturday morning, we're looking at temperatures continuing to rise up near the freezing mark across south central, even up into Anchorage, and then back here along areas of the Panhandle. Temperatures will be near or above freezing, especially near and south of Juneau. And daytime highs then on Saturday afternoon could get into the upper 30s to near 40 degrees along areas of the western Kenai and up toward the Anchorage Bowl and up into the Wasilla Palmer area. Back here along the outer and southern portion of the Panhandle, we're looking at temperatures in the 40s, Sitka down through Craig and Metlakatla. 38 over at Kodiak City. In the far north, still chilly, but not nearly as cold. No 50-something below here. Fort Yukon, minus 20-ish, minus 15 down at Northway. Still a little below zero along the North Slope Arctic coast, but temperatures bumping upward here, lower Yukon Delta and around Norton Sound. And then temperatures Friday afternoon continuing a little downslope, out toward Healy, 31-ish. And as you get into the interior, temperatures in the coldest spots still in the teens, a little below zero along areas of the Arctic coast. And Saturday morning, still some temperatures below zero along the North Slope and along the Arctic coast, but again, not nearly the severe cold that we saw here in mid and late January on up into early February. And then finally, looking at temperatures, again, the moderation continues creeping upward through the Yukon Valley and along the Alaska Range. There will be areas of downslope enhancement and warming. And along the southwest, we're going to see temperatures overnight lows generally above freezing around Bristol Bay and down along the Alaska Peninsula into the eastern Aleutians. Temperatures Friday afternoon continuing to go upward as that front lifts northward with the low center that's going to come inland right around this area here. Cape Newingham up toward the east side of Kuskokwim Bay and into the interior. Highs getting back up above freezing, Dillingham, King Salmon, 30s to near 40 degrees, and then low temperatures Saturday morning at or above freezing from King Salmon down through at least the lower portion of the Alaska Peninsula. And then for Saturday afternoon, as that low continues to weaken and drift northward, we could get some temperatures around 30, even going inland up the Kuskokwim River and into the lower Yukon. And then looking at temperature outlook here, this takes us into mid-month. We are anticipating across much of the mainland, especially the northern and west and southwest sides of the state, pretty good likelihood that temperatures will average above normal. Near normal temperatures are forecast for the southeast mainland in the vicinity of the Wrangell St. Elias Mountains around McCarthy on through Yakutat and much of the Panhandle. And then precipitation, maybe we could turn the spigot off for a little while here in the Panhandle and Southeast. It's looking like precipitation will average below normal and maybe some drier conditions here across much of the central, northern, eastern mainland back through, especially the Panhandle, but maybe creeping up a little bit, maybe a little above normal precipitation as you extend out down along the Alaska Peninsula.